Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Yuki. I am a metaphysical and intuitive tarot reader here on YouTube, and today I'm coming out with my first pick a pile reading. So today we're going to be looking at what messages that you might need to hear and any guides or ancestors that might be trying to join you on your way. So please stick around and take a moment to just pick a pile that seems like it's going to have a message for you. So I always say it's like trust your first instinct, but also if you have a specific situation or whatnot that you have in mind that you want advice for, make sure to keep that in your head or in your heart when you are picking your pile. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So the first pile we have here is the Mystical Manga Tarot, and we have here the Tarot of the Divine, and then here last pile 3, we have the Star Spinner Tarot. So if you'd like to just take a moment, pause the video here and try to figure out which pile calls to you the most. And it's also okay if you're being called for more than one pile. Hopefully there won't be too many duplicate messages. But yeah, so I look forward to seeing you in our reading. Hi there, Pile 1. Welcome to your reading. If you picked the first pile, which is the Mystical Manga Tarot, this reading is for you. So what we really want to do today is just see what messages that you might need to hear today in order to help guide you on the path that you need to go for. So thank you so much for, the cards are already flying out, joining. This is my first pick a card reading. So to get started, let's just go ahead and shuffle and see what cards come out. All right, Spirit, what are some things that pile 1 needs to know? I'm working on my bridge too, so it's not particularly great. And I'm working on it, so bear with me. Also a little anxious about bending my cards. But we'll get there. We'll get there with time. Oh, okay. Pile. What does pile 1 need to know, Spirit? What does pile 1 need to know? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So if you've never experienced one of my readings before, a lot of times you will see 3 rows. So usually the top row is what your higher self wants you to know. What are things that are blocking you, and what are some messages that your spirit team want to let you know what's on the way for you. There's a lot of reversals, so I'm seeing a lot of things that are being blocked, but there's a lot of great things here as well. So with the 9 of Wands here being in reverse, it does seem like you are starting to move forward from things that you used to cling to, like old narratives, and it looks like you are moving forward from them. Your higher self is giving you a lot of props because you not moving from this energy was blocking your manifestations and you not recognizing the resources that you had in front of you. Now, if you're not seeing things coming as quickly or as exactly the way that you wanted them, it's because of some old karma that had to kind of balance out as well. But I'm seeing that more so with the 9 of Wands here being in reverse. You are stepping out of that mentality of no longer holding things that were pretty much holding you back. But we also hear on the second level here, we have a lot of things blocking you. With the Sun being in reverse and with the Page of Wands, and yeah, we've got the 7 of Swords. So you, yeah, you are starting to allow yourself to have joy and you're starting to allow yourself this idea that you're allowed to pursue your creative endeavors and the things that make you happy. And I can tell that it's really been a struggle to get here, especially with your mindset and the way that you've been trying to manifest things into your life and how things have been turning out. You've been really frustrated with yourself, and you've been having a really hard time figuring out, like, okay, well, why aren't the things that I'm asking for coming? Like, why isn't this happening? And there was a little bit of deflection a lot of the times. And I hate saying victim mentality, but like, it is kind of, especially if you've been like grasping onto old narratives this entire time and you're finally coming out of it. So and that's what I mean, how like those karmic cycles are starting to like close themselves out and start becoming completed, especially here with the Judgment card on the bottom with your spirit team. Like, your spirit team's literally telling you that like things are starting to just like fall into place and things are starting to get revitalized. Like, you coming out of this mentality and finally realizing that you are not made of the previous choices that you have like pretty much come out of. And also, I'm really sorry for the snoring. That's my dog. But your spirit team is telling you that you're finally choosing to move out of this. Because like with the Queen of Cups here on the back of the deck and Strength, both of these in reverse, it definitely is looking like you've been kind of letting your emotions take the reins of your situations rather than kind of balancing your emotions plus your thoughts. And I get that. Like, it's very difficult sometimes to try to figure out which ones are the intrusive thoughts and which ones are like your genuine emotion. I highly recommend, like, if you're having an issue like dictating like which emotions are yours and which are somebody else's. I've always carried like a black tourmaline either with me or on my bracelet. I've started to do that more and more often, especially because like the way that, you know, the world's been recently. But what your spirit team wants you to know ultimately, though, is that things are going to be working out. You finally chose to not be led so strictly on your emotions and be kind of in this pity party that you've been holding for a really long time. And to the point where you yourself were blocking joy and happiness and good things that were coming your way, including like a really wonderful, passionate pursuit and offer. And you are finally coming out of blocking yourself from that, which is really beautiful. So like having these cards, well, having these two cards in reverse, is really good for especially when these are things that are blocking you. But with the Seven of Swords here, it definitely doesn't seem like it was someone else deceiving you. It was you were deceiving yourself. You were sitting here going like, my life is shit, like this is all crap, and you know, like that's not really the case. I think it was more of your mentality in the situation that was leading you to believe that you didn't have as much resources, or you didn't think you were smart enough or pretty enough or, you know, healthy enough, like whatever your situation is. Like, I'm getting a lot of messages about this being about manifestation, your mindset, and the way that kind of like you've been letting your emotions kind of take the reins, which, don't get me wrong, you are allowed to feel your feelings, and please always justify the things that you're feeling, but realize that there are certain things that you should allow yourself to process, but don't allow it to drive you. Because the difference between feeling your emotions and allowing them to lead you has to come with a balance of rational thinking as well. Because sometimes your feelings can lead to thoughts that are very irrational, which isn't very fair to you. And that's something that like you want to keep in mind moving forward, so that way you are not hurting yourself in future decisions and in future things that'll lead you utmost to your happiness, because you have the 10 of Cups here, and it's definitely like with Judgment here and then the 2 of Swords and then the 10 of Cups, this is definitely like your spirit team telling you what's on the way. Like they're really giving you kind of like a pat on the back going, listen, like we know shit has been rough, but it's going to get better. Like there's a rejuvenation, and also a call to just, you know, being, I don't want to say patient, but like recognizing all the work that you've done to get here and then choosing to be above all the things that you've went through, so that way you can claim this happiness. And I guarantee you, if you've been getting a lot of readings recently, you've probably been seeing a lot of 10 of Cups and rolling your eyes, because you've been sitting in this mindset of like, well, okay, where is it? Where are my blessings? And when in reality, like, while you might not be able to see them in front of you, they're on the way. You just have to I keep hearing, hold on, just keep on holding on, like it's going to get better. So, you need to recognize your strength though, your inner strength, and figure out how to balance your emotions. Make sure, just be careful, because like, recognize that like emotions can sometimes paint things that are neutral into things that are not neutral. So like you can sit there and be like, oh, well, I had a bad day. Try to be a little more objective about it. Okay, well, you had a bad day. Well, just think about it. All right, was the whole day really bad, or was one thing happen that made your whole day feel like it was terrible? And that doesn't mean you invalidate your emotions. It just means, okay, feel the way that you want to feel about whatever situation happened, but recognize that it wasn't the entire day, right? And also, like, if you had a really crappy day and it was the entire day, you had a really crappy day. But just recognize that, like, the day itself is neutral. Time is neutral. It's not good nor bad. It's our inflictions of how we perceive things that create that, well, I had a really good day or I had a really bad day. When in reality, it's of moments. So just keep that in mind. I want to go ahead and pull some messages for you into what you can do and what you can rely on. I don't want to say, maybe rely on is probably a really good word, but a good thing for you to keep in mind when you're making these decisions and trying to fulfill yourself and recognize the beautiful things in front of you. So, Spirit, what can Pile 1 do? Do you have any advice for Pile 1? Okay. Akashic lineage, speak your affirmations, and you carry light. All right. So, Akashic lineage is always telling me to pull from our ancestor deck, which I didn't think you guys would need it, but I guess you do. And speak your affirmation. So I also have an affirmation deck as well. Yeah, you carry your light. Yeah, you have to recognize that you have this power to get whatever it is that you want. We'll go ahead and pull the ancestor card. Spirit, which ancestor is trying to call out to Pile 1 to help guide them through this situation? Ancestors trying to guide Pile 1. This one? Interesting. Okay. So we've got the caregiver. And then I want to get you some affirmations and see if there's anything here that we can do to help you. Say, are there any affirmations, Spirit, here for Pile 1? Oh, the blank one, of course. Anything else? I'm telling you, Spirit has a sense of humor. My particular spirit guide also has a very, very kind of like, I told you so sense of humor. So bear with me. For the caregiver, I'm just going to go ahead and read straight from the book. Only because I love these cards, and usually the thing that you need to hear is... So here, you've got the caregiver. There we go. You are a compassionate and caring person, so honor this calling to offer care and support to other beings. Do so from a place of non-attachment, with an intention of giving without receiving anything in return. Let it go. As challenging as this may be, the practice of doing so will free you in the habit of seeking something in return, such that when the response is less than anticipated, you will avoid feeling resentful. As well, it's time to take risks in asking for support from others, which for you can be challenging. It's a trap that you easily fall into, one avoiding asking or receiving anything for yourself. No need to martyr yourself, otherwise you could eventually end up feeling like a victim. Yeah, okay, so, all right. Whew. And then your affirmation is, I am in the right place at the right time, and everything is in divine order. So I'll give you a second to let you screenshot that. Hopefully this will focus. Or maybe I have to do it down here. But yeah, go ahead and screenshot that. You can also save this as your desktop background, mobile background. And also, so a few things. So with the caregiver here, and this is Akashic lineage, so this is one of your ancestors stepping through. This could have been someone who took care of you, who's no longer with us. This could be someone stepping through, pretty much someone who took care of you when you were younger. But they're coming in and pretty much they're calling you out for this whole kind of like, I don't want to say victim mentality, but like you have been performing acts of service thinking that this will get you closer to your manifestations and thinking that that is your resource in order to perform to receive the gifts that you want to receive. And that is not actually how it goes. With you, sorry, I'm burping, so I mean that's a really good confirmation. With you, with this you carry light card, you have such a beautiful soul, and you have been told at some point in your life, and maybe not told, but conditioned to think that your worth comes from performance. And that's not the case. And another thing here with like you speak your affirmations, another thing that like your like spirit's trying to tell you is that you need to make the conscious effort to learn how to speak to yourself more kindly, because everything is on its way, but it's the way that you talk to yourself. And that's why I think it's really funny that this blank affirmation card came out, because it's like, at the end of the day, you know what your problem is. Your problem is the way that you talk to yourself and the way that you have been like poorly kind of trashing yourself in your own mind and letting your ego kind of kick the crap out of you when that's not necessary. But here having this like, I'm in the right place at the right time and everything is in divine order, it's because everything is going to come. You just have to kind of finally decide to see that you're allowed to have it, and then it's gonna come in. It's interesting because it's like, this isn't any cups card. This is the 10 of cups. This is the wish fulfillment. This is like the Disneyland. This is the Disney happy ever after card. The floodgates will open as soon as you choose your mindset and decide and revitalize the fact, because like you weren't always this negative. You weren't always like while you were conditioned, and it seems like recently you've been conditioned to think that like you have to perform to receive affection, and that's just not the case. And I'm sorry, and just know that like hi, welcome. I'm Yuki. I'm a huge proprietor of therapy and mental health. And I say this because I go to therapy. Like, I have been through some stuff too, and I just want you to know that I have all the compassion in my heart for you, but I also understand where you are right now in your journey. And if you have been told that therapy is just not good for you in your life, please understand that, like, that's actually not the case. There's a type of magic that comes with just talking to someone and, like, having that safe space to just let everything out. And yes, there are good therapists, there are bad therapists out there, but you, at the end of the day, know what type of person you want to talk to. If you don't feel safe, don't keep going back to that person. But honestly, if you feel like you are in this situation where, like, you have to constantly prove to yourself and prove to other people that you deserve affection, sorry, again, my dog, that's not the case. You don't have to prove yourself to be here and take up space. You are allowed to be here. Okay? I love you. I'm going to pull some self-care. I kind of want to pull just a self-care card for you, see what you can do to just kind of get you and help you get you in that right mindset. Because, like, listen, I feel you. Just 1,000% I feel you. And I think it's don't ever discredit your light. You really have a beautiful light within you and a beautiful heart and soul within you. And I think that it's time for you to also let that light of yours be enough to make you feel like you deserve the affection. Yeah. Yeah, with rest here. Yeah, you gotta give yourself a break, my dude. And I say my dude with, like, I'm gonna say my dude as a gender neutral term, so please, I hope nobody takes offense to that. Yeah. With the caregiver card here, like, give it a rest. Is literally what I'm hearing. I'm hearing give it a rest. Like, pump the brakes, slow down, figure out, like, if you're not towards the end of this journey of learning how to decide, like, learning how to decide how to talk to yourself, you might be running yourself ragged. And honestly, like, that is probably something that you're doing because you feel like you have to, because you're trying to prove yourself. You don't need to prove yourself anymore. You just need to choose how to talk to yourself a lot more kindly. So that way you can keep moving forward and allow the floodgates to open. All right. Well, pile one. I think this is where I'm going to leave your reading. If you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can visit my website. It's linked down below in the subscription. If you enjoyed this reading, please leave me a comment. Also, a like and share this video to anybody who you think might just need some advice. And also, feel free to subscribe to the channel. I'm a little new to pre-recording videos. I do daily readings on TikTok as well. So if you can't afford the daily readings, please feel free to check out my website. It has all my socials. So that way you can also find any of, I'll also link my socials down below as well. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it resonated. If it did or if it didn't, leave me a comment below. If you feel attacked, that's considered resonation station, as one of my favorite tarot readers usually say. But yeah, so please pump the brakes a little bit. You don't need to keep proving yourself. You've got this. I love you. Have a great day or night whenever you're watching this video, okay? And hopefully I'll see you again soon. Hopefully enough people like this video so, I can keep doing it. All right, thanks guys. Bye. Hi there, pile 2. Welcome. If you chose the Tarot of the Divine, this reading is for you. today we're just looking at what are some messages that you need to know. All right. Okay. All right, Spirit, what are some things that Pile 2 needs to know? Also, welcome. I am really excited to be doing these videos. I've been watching them for a little bit of a time now. You know, here and there, while filming other tarot-like pieces around all other social media. So I'm really excited to finally be on YouTube and being able to provide these pick a pile readings. So in order to get a good amount of cards, let's... Alright, Spirit, what are some things that Pile 2 needs to know? What are some things that are blocking Pile 2? Okay. Ooh, too many cards. Okay, we're just going to take the one that came up. Alright, so I'll get into the layout in just a short moment. Okay. Okay. Whew. All right. This is a reading. Sorry, I just want to give you guys some space so that way all the cards are in the screen. I feel bad for Pile 1 because Pile 1's cards started kind of going off the shot here. Okay, so if you're new here, whenever I do readings, particularly when I've been doing them on Twitch or live or anywhere, that's honestly not TikTok, the top row is what your higher self wants you to know, the middle row is what is blocking you, and on the bottom is things that your spirit team wants you to know. Okay, so it's kind of some pretty heavy energy here. There's a lot of discourse coming through when it comes to a union. And I don't know if, I mean, here's the thing. Two of Cups card is very much to me, this is more of a lover's card than a lover card. So it does seem that there might have been some type of offer that you've been looking forward to, and a lot of things are blocking you from it. And ultimately, with the High Priestess here on the back of the deck being in reverse, and then like the Ace of Wands, yeah, the Ace of Wands being behind the High Priestess that's also in reverse, you're having a lot of issues connecting with your higher self. And your higher self, honestly, I kind of feel like this Two of Cups is you and your higher self. Especially with like the High Priestess over here in the back of the deck being reversal. Because like if you think about it, the High Priestess is all about intuition and like trusting yourself. And then with the Moon in reverse here, which is another like listening to your subconscious card, honestly, I think the discord from this Two of Cups being in reverse is you and your higher self. And I feel like your higher self really wants to come in. Yeah, your higher self really wants to come in and talk with you. Sorry, I'm getting kind of... Your higher self is really kind of like not frustrated, but there's a lot of like I'm sighing a lot of like sighs, kind of because you're focused. So the Four of Cups is very much like a lack mentality type card, where like you're focused on the lack and like things that have happened in the past, and you're so hung up on the things that happened that you're not recognizing like this card in particular is all about how like this Emperor had all of these like recreations of the nightingale, and the nightingale, the true nightingale, is right behind him singing this entire time, but he's so fixated on these fakes, you know, or like recreations, and he's so dissatisfied because none of these have gotten any close to the nightingale, when the nightingale in reality is right there. So sorry for all the sighs. It's just that this, I feel like I'm channeling your higher self. Your higher self's getting kind of like, why aren't you listening? Because like you're sitting here and you're making things way harder for yourself than you actually have to. And what your higher self is like desperately asking you to do, in the things that have been blocking you from this connection with your higher self, is that you think it's way harder than it actually is, when in reality all you have to do to contact with your higher self is kind of give yourself a safe space where no one's going to bother you, and just kind of sit and just be like, hey, higher self. And this can be an awkward or weird conversation the first few times. It's fine. Mine weren't all great either. But like, it could just be like, hi, you know, I'm me, you're you, like, could I have some help with this situation? Or do you have some guidance on how I can get closer to you? And you just kind of sit there and you ask that question. And also make sure after you do, A, drink a lot of water, and 2, give yourself a lot of rest, because your first session with your higher self may turn into one of two things. It could be and also realize that this should not be a scary thing. If you are afraid, it's because you're afraid of what might happen. So that might be an anxiety thing, like, going on with, like, just that situation. I'm not saying, like, you personally have anxiety. I just mean that, like, you might be anxious about what they have to say, because this is new to you. So that being said, like, it's what's blocking you is how hard you think that this connection is, and it's really not. It's like you're afraid to, sorry guys, I'm burping a lot, which is really good because burping's a confirmation. I wish I could blame it on soda or something, but I haven't really been drinking soda. I don't know why I had to mention that, but with the moon here in reverse, and sometimes, a lot of times, like, when you see reversals in this blockages, it usually actually means that, like, oh, like, I'm sorry guys, it's my dog, he snores. It's usually like a good thing, like, you know, if the sun was here, right, like, that would mean, like, if the sun was in reversal here, it would just actually mean that, like, you're ready to start accepting happiness. But with the moon here blocking you, there's a lot of things in your subconscious, and I think that's what you're afraid of. You're afraid of facing your subconscious and start recognizing that there are actually a lot of beautiful things that you're to look forward to. Because with the 7 of Coins here, with your spirit team coming in wanting to talk to you, I'll come back to the 7 of Coins, but like with the 5 of Coins in reverse and the Sun in reverse, you're starting to see the things before you and the resources. So like the number one thing about this card, and I love this deck in particular because of the storytelling that comes with all of these cards, but like here particularly is the little match girl, and if you can't see her, I'll bring her up a little closer. So the thing about the little match girl is when she's in reverse, which I keep forgetting that the camera is reversed. If you're unfamiliar with the story of the little match girl, sorry guys, she is fixated on the match that's keeping her hands warm, but the rest of her body's freezing, when in reality, and you know, this isn't to be like a religious call or anything, it's just like there's a church here where if she recognized that she could possibly go into the church and ask to stay the night, they wouldn't deny her. But because she's so fixated on what's in front of her, she's not recognizing that there's way more warmth inside somewhere, that if she just recognized that she was okay to go ahead and go ask, that she would be, you know, she wouldn't die, because at the end, sorry, spoiler alert, but if you don't know, you know, the little match girl dies at the end. But for this being in reverse, your spirit team is giving you kind of like a nudge forward to be like, hey, by the way, you need to start getting out of that mentality. And with this being in reverse, I think this is kind of like a pat on the back that you are starting to, because I think a part of you recognizes that you don't trust yourself. And I think it's because there was like an opportunity that came a knockin', and you didn't trust yourself, and because you didn't trust yourself, you lost out on an opportunity because you kept constantly questioning it instead of trusting your intuition and what you wanted out of the situation. But with like the Sun card here in reverse too, like your spirit team recognizes how distraught you are about what happened, but it needs to be a conscious effort for you to choose to be happy, choose to bask in the sun, because right now you're not doing it. You're not doing it. It's interesting because you have the Sun card, you have the Moon card here, right? That's blocking you. And the Moon card, regardless of what position it is, it's your subconscious is trying to tell you something and you're just not wanting to hear it. And it's blocking that happiness. And it's like, it's interesting to kind of have like this, like, you know, tic-tac-toe kind of situation of like, you know, the three lined up, and it's kind of like you have your higher self wanting to come in with a super solid offer, but like you're too caught up on thinking that this is going to be too hard, too much to do the work for like the Moon card being here with your subconscious, that it's blocking you from a potential happiness that you could really see yourself relishing. Give me 1 second. Edit here. Okay, and sorry about that, guys. Last but certainly not least, you have the Seven of Coins here. And with the Seven of Coins being here, this is definitely like a desire. There's like a huge desire from your spirit team to bring you all the things that you could ever ask for. But, and there's a but, and their promises come with conditions, because you need to learn how to start looking at the bigger picture. So for example, like you really want to have your own place, and you end up renting a room, and you know, like, it's not where you want to be, but you recognize the bigger picture is going to be you saving the money so that way one day you can buy a house, right? Like, that's the bigger picture. It's like, but right now you're so focused on the fact that like, I'm renting a room, I don't have my own space, and it's frustrating me and it's driving me nuts. But like at the same point in time, it's like, okay, but like you're making these choices in order for this to be a bigger, better picture for you in the end. And it's you kind of having to recognize that and move forward from that, so that way you can embrace your happiness. Because right now you're not. And your higher self wants to talk to you, and your spirit team also wants to work with you too, but it definitely seems like your mindset and you thinking that like the spiritual connection and listening to your intuition is way harder than it actually is. You know, it's not that hard. So I want to pull some oracles for you to see if we have any advice on how you can connect with your higher self better, and for your tuition as well, because you connecting with your higher self is another layer of your intuition, you know. Go lay down. Go lay down. Sorry, guys. What can pile 2 do to connect better with their higher self and their intuition? What can pile 2 do to connect with themselves better and their intuition? Okay. Gotta love it. Higher self came out. Benevolent energy also came out. So this card in particular is all about like learning to acknowledge your higher self, which we stand for confirmation, right? And it shows the willingness to listen in a way that you never have before to something that is loving and benevolent and beautiful, and an energy that honestly can never run away from you, because again, think about it. Higher self is your self, but in a higher vibration, a higher energy. Like, this isn't something that's difficult for you to tap into. You just have to be willing to open the conversation. Like, that's the one thing that's blocking you, is this perceived notion that this is going to be very difficult to do, when in reality it's not. And if you don't feel comfortable sitting, closing your eyes and trying to have a conversation, you can start writing and just try to channel and see what comes out, you know? Einstein, go lay down, honey. All right, that works. But yeah, like it's so funny because like I'm sitting here trying to channel any type of advice, but what I'm picking up on and channeling is that it's your higher self who's really just like, hey, they need to come and talk to me. They need to come and talk to me. It's time. Like, this benevolent energy, like, this is benevolency this benevolent energy is here to help you, here to guide you. Like, this is something that, like, this isn't as difficult as you think it's going to be. In reality, too, like, your spirit team really wants to also help you succeed at this. So if like you're scared to talk to your higher self, okay, so like I understand if it might be difficult to trust the fact that your higher self might be a benevolent energy to listen to. And if that is the way that you're viewing yourself and viewing your situation, that's a conversation of you learning how to trust yourself, which again is the whole essence of this reading, is you not being able to understand and trust yourself. You know? I'm wondering... I'm trying to figure out... I think we've got angels and ancestors coming through and wanting to talk. All right. So, in order to connect with your higher self, what messages do we have for pile 2 in order to help them open themselves up to their spirit team and to take charge with authority? All right, let's go ahead and let's see if there's any other messages for pile 2. Is there any other messages for pile 2 that they might need to know in order for them to trust themselves a little bit more? Like, that's the thing. Your higher self is literally like, I just want to talk to you. All you have to do is make the effort to just have a conversation with me. And I will tell you things. Like, it's be graceful in movement and action. Yeah. There's also, I'm also being told that you need to learn how to give yourself a little bit more grace in you having this human experience. Like, I think the reason why you're having such a hard time connecting with your higher self too is because you're interesting. Not taking care of yourself. Interesting. Alright, so you have the Lord, which is take charge with authority. Shaolin Master, be graceful with movement and action. Winter, take care of your needs. And Broken Arrow, embrace the energy of peace. I'm interested to see what's on the back of the deck. Medicine Mother, honor your inner knowing. Sorry, guys. Listen, it's very, 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 very clear that you... Like, this is your next step in taking care of yourself, is learning how to communicate with yourself. And you learning how to communicate with yourself with your subconscious mind is what is going to lead you to a much more peaceful and intentional lifestyle. But the only way you can start this and start learning how to trust yourself is to start taking action by communicating with your higher self. Because I really want to talk to you. Like, I can't, like, I literally cannot shake this need of, like, wanting to just kind of, like, jut forward and be like, I just need to talk to you. Like, that's literally this energy that I've been channeling this entire time. And I know it's not just your spirit team. It is definitely, because, like, it's interesting. In this deck in particular, there are specific, like, angels and ancestors that come in and come through. And to have, like, these are, and I say this with love and light, but like these are very much general spirits, which very well could be on your spirit team, but like I feel like this is more your higher self coming through and wanting to just be like, please just take that first step, have that conversation with me. Like it's not as scary as it is. It's actually a part of you taking care of yourself and taking care of us, and it'll lead you to a lot of peace. Like, you're allowed to be at peace. You just need you need to honor your inner knowing. And this is the Medicine Mother that came right at the bottom of the deck too. And they want you to. Like, this is really honestly a beautiful message. Okay, I think I'm going to pull Self-Care Oracle and see what is the best way for you, like what self-care actions can you take to initiate like your conversation with your higher self. My spirit. What? Okay, how about, all right, I want to do this a little differently, sorry. Okay. Pile 2's higher self. What are some actions that Pile 2 can take in order to connect with you easily? Whew, okay. Oh man. Pile 2's higher self. What are some things that Pile 2 can do to take care of themselves to connect with you more easily? Okay, okay. Okay, okay. All right. Okay. So it's going to be a little bit different for each person. And these are a few different people. Obviously, this is a collective reading on YouTube. This is one person. This is another. And for this specific person, I'm going to pull an ancestor card. So there's a few different scenarios for this person, for this situation, for this pile. There's a few scenarios, and I want to get into them. Ooh. Piles to ancestor. Singer. Okay, maybe this is not as different as I thought it was. Are there any other ancestors that are coming through for pile 2? Is there any other ancestors that are coming through for pile 2? Is there any other ancestors that are coming through for pile 2? Okay. Whew, your ancestors are very, very kind. Just to throw that out there. They're very nice. I really like their energy because your higher self literally feels like this. And as soon as I started trying to channel your ancestors, I felt like a huge, like, kind of like a few nice pats on my shoulder, which is, it's kind of nice. Master Ancestor DNA. Okay. We gotta pull one more. Sorry guys. So this one card is like a super juicer to whatever ancestor comes out next. So I'll choose ancestor. Okay, that was really quick. All right. Also, sorry guys, I got a train that comes by. Artisan. Oh, my creatives. I mean, technically we're all creative here. Okay, this might be a little crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna treat this as one person, as one collective energy, because honestly, y'all are not that different. I'm hearing 432 hertz. If you've never heard of that, 432 hertz is the sound frequency for self-love. Your higher self is definitely telling you that you need to take some time to maybe listen to a sound bath or sound healing. Also, you need to start singing in the car again. It's another thing that I'm hearing. Start singing in the car. If you're too embarrassed to sing at home, I'm getting, because it's actually interesting to see like the rainbow effect here. So like that's kind of like the feeling of sound healing, and as you can see, like it's very much a type of, I'll say like wavelength, right? But I think it's interesting here that it's the hair, because that kind of like signifies as like your crown chakra, which is a really great way to open up to your higher self. So like if you're into music or into sound healing, like sometimes, okay, so like, you know, sometimes there's a certain song that like really, I don't want to say triggers, but kind of like triggers a lot of emotion into you. Sing that out. Like, High Hopes by Panic at the Disco is like my one song where like I sing it really, really like heartfully, and like I start crying and everything, and it really opens up your crown chakra and your throat chakra, by the way, which would help you, by the way, to communicate with your higher self. But yeah, I'm hearing 432 hertz, sing in the car, and like sing out, Louise. If you know, you know. Okay. Hi guys. Welcome back. I am here to wrap up your reading. I'm sorry for the quality jump, by the way. If you were in pile 1 and the beginning of pile 2 and you're still with me, I'm so sorry for the quality jump. This is my second time trying to record this closing. I was trying to put the cards away and redo everything because the quality
looks much better than before, and I was told very much no, finish up the reading before posting, so I'm doing that. But then I recorded it, and then the mic was on mute. First time I recorded this through, the camera died, so you know. Anywho, so to finish up this reading, we were finishing up with the self-care cards, and then I wanted to go into these ancestor cards. But before I do, your higher self has a lot to say, and the one thing that I definitely want to just kind of touch base back upon is like taking care of yourself. And so with the medicine mother here, you're really very much being called to being kind to yourself and take care of yourself through this healing, because it definitely seems like you've been really, really hard on yourself, and the way that you talk to yourself too. As I was saying, with like this positive affirmations card being here, your higher self's really calling out to you along with your ancestors, because you're to have the master ancestor DNA plus connect with your ancestors, both of these cards popping out, your spirit team is very much heavily reliant on your ancestors. So your ancestors are very much coming through, and it definitely sounds like they've been trying to talk to you through music, especially here with the singer card as well. But what your higher self is trying to communicate with you is that you need to learn how to talk to yourself better, because like, and it does kind of seem a little bit like, you know, for you, for me kind of situation, but you have to remember your higher self is you. And I think your higher self, more than anything, while they are frustrated that you are, you know, like not talking kindly to yourself, it's also preventing your connection. And while it's not horribly strained, you still have, again, like the Two of Cups there in reverse. They just, and getting this plan a vacation card coming out, I want to say that, like, you, this isn't necessarily you planning a vacation. I think your higher self, more than anything, wants you to take out time to just go and connect. And like, you know, like if that means putting your phone on do not disturb, and or putting it on airplane mode, especially because we have the airplane here, and really just, it's almost kind of like, if you're looking at this card too, like this travel to this being on this card here, you know, traveling to your higher self, like taking the time to plan some time, set some time, whether you need to like go somewhere else because maybe your home situation isn't great, like going out to like a park or something like that, and just like really sitting and just, you know, and you're in the back of your head just going like, hi, I you know, my name's this, and you're my higher self, I would like to communicate, like, do you have some time? And they're always going to have time for you. Your higher self, let me tell you something right now, once you connect with your higher self, you're going to be feeling so much different and so much more connected. It is a little spooky. And what I mentioned before when it came to the fears and anxieties is, when you're connecting with your higher self, if you're feeling any fear or anxiety, when you're asking about like the future or what things and advice, it's not because it's not because you're afraid of what you're going to hear. It's because no, sorry. You're feeling afraid of what you might hear rather than being afraid of the actuality of the situation. So just allow your ego to have that space, but separate yourself from your ego before you start talking to your higher self, because you have to remember your ego is very loud. Your intuition, your higher self are going to be much quieter voices when you're trying to connect with them. But that being said, with your ancestors. So again, you got connect with your ancestors as a way of self-care card, and also like the master DNA, which is whenever these two cards come out, or any type of collection of ancestry, while these are two very ancestral spirits that could be coming out to you, I feel like this is more of a message from your ancestors, because I'm gonna be honest with you, Pile, too. Like, I think you know who's watching over you on your spirit team, and there's a possibility that you're very, very connected with spirit and your spirit team through like singing and music and stuff like that. And if you're not, that's one way of doing it. but there's like some anxiety of like believing that your higher self is also a divine entity that you can believe in as well. But what you're being called to with these two cards popping out, especially from your ancestors, and like this master ancestor DNA card is very much like the juice up, if you will, juice up cards for whatever cards come out afterwards. So I really feel like your ancestors are asking you to cultivate and really create and take some time and some moments for yourself to really cultivate this creation. Ugh, sorry guys. Cultivate this connection with your higher self. And maybe I'm constantly saying creation because you never tuned into your higher self. So maybe you do need to create it. And also with the singer here, this is very much, especially with like all this blue here, you're definitely like blocking yourself with your heart, with your, wow, okay, heart chakra, your throat chakra, probably a little bit. There's a lot of green in the spread as well. So maybe you need to learn how to open up your heart to your higher self, but also learn how to open up your throat chakra. Number one thing I'll tell you guys right now, singing. Singing and music is something that you're very, very, very connected to. And I think it's time for you to kind of let your voice be heard. Whether it's like you singing in your car and rolling down the windows, you really have to realize that like a lot of people are so absorbed within their own lifetime. So you really need to just have the courage to just sing it out and don't worry about the people around you, because people are either going to enjoy it or they're not. And if somebody has the balls to tell you that they don't, tell them, you know, thanks, and then just keep going. Because at the end of the day, most people don't have the cojones enough to do that. And second, like, who cares? You live one life. Enjoy it. Sing out. Sing your favorite song. Sing something that makes you feel something. Like, you don't need to keep muting yourself anymore. But yeah. All right, pile two. Now that we have finally come to the end of your reading, thank you so much for being here, number one. Number two, please feel free to give me a like, a comment if you really resonated with this reading and with this pile and with these messages. We always love a confirmation. It's not always necessary, but it's always appreciated. And yeah, thank you so much. Hopefully the quality will just keep going up from here, with maybe some new supplies and all those other things coming to being. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate you taking the time to just listen to these readings. I do offer private readings. The link will be linked down below in my description box. And again, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you being here. I'm just gonna say thank you like 18 million times towards the end of every single video, so I hope you guys get used to that now. But yeah, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you. You've got this. Please, please talk to your higher self. Give yourself some time to talk to your higher self. They really want to talk to you. All right? I'm going to leave your reading here, pile two. Thanks so much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day or night whenever you're seeing this. Okay? Bye! Hi there, pile three. If you picked the Star Standard Tarot, this reading is your pile. Thank you so much for being here. If you are new here, welcome. Cards are already flying out. Okay. This deck really wanted to talk today. If you're new here, I usually do, and these are really, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I do a 3-tiered reading, so you'll have what your higher self wants you to know, what is blocking you, and some messages of advice from your spirit guide. And then we're also going to go into some oracles. Maybe I'm feeling very much called to pull to see who wants to come through and someone who you might want to try to work with or call on whenever you are trying to work through, it looks like an issue, honestly, an external issue or possibly internal, just from these 4 cards already flying out. out. But yeah, I just want to say welcome. I'm really excited. The quality has jumped all around in this video. This is my first pick a pile reading, my first YouTube video too, for these types of readings. So please bear with me with the quality. Hopefully everything sounds good, looks good, all those wonderful things. But I'm really excited to be here, and I'm really excited that you guys are here to receive this reading. So without further ado, let's continue. Is there anything? Okay, is there anything? Okay. I can't even get a question out. This is definitely higher self. Oh, okay. Okay. Interesting. Huh. Ha. Queen or king. Sorry, I have to. If honestly though, if I say queen, I mean it in like the most like queen way. Queen energy, feminine, divine feminine energy. This definitely seems like that. This is a reading calling towards that. Hopefully you guys can see all the cards. You can. Beautiful. Okay. Thankfully, it only took 3 piles to get my life together, so that way you guys could get a great reading. I think all the piles had a lot of significant messages, so they are all staying, and then the next batch of Pick a Pile is going to be this level quality and hopefully higher maybe. But yeah, oh my gosh, guys. This is the immediate message that's coming through is you're fooling yourself by thinking that bad things are going to happen. There seems to be a conflict in regards to you making decisions. It's very obvious that you are not allowing yourself to make decisions in situations, whatever the case may be. With the Lovers here being in the back of the deck, and I'm telling you guys, I'm burping like crazy whenever I do these, which is a great confirmation. So yeah, it definitely, so with the Lovers here, and the one thing I like to preface with this deck, there are different types of lover cards in here. There's 4, so yes, that does increase the chances. I do just draw the deck as is. Come at me in the comments if you will. It'll help boost the the engagement of this video. But that was how the artist intended, was to pick one and then include it in the deck. But I personally, because I'm such a creative person, the Lovers is very much about duality, creativity, and all those wonderful things. So I personally decided as a reader to keep it in the deck, all 4. So yes, this does increase the chances of the Lovers card, but I will preface right now that the Lovers card isn't like all about love. It's about, especially like, personally, it's the card of the Gemini, so duality in when it comes to expressing yourself. And it's interesting here to immediately for me to say like this is definitely about a divine feminine, and then we have the Lovers with 2 males on it. I see a lot of conflict in understanding how to present yourself. There seems to be a lot of I'm feeling a lot of, honestly, like bubbling up anxiety in my chest a little bit here. It seems like you have like a lot of anxiety when it comes to figuring out what your voice is. It feels like you are having some issues understanding like what is it that is truly your voice versus what is external dialogue. And this could be spirit, this could be the people around you. I'm going to be honest, I just want to give a quick piece of advice to you because I've had this issue myself before. And this bracelet I have here is black tourmaline. I didn't really know about this. I knew black tourmaline honestly was good for banishing bad energy, but wearing it on your left side, and your left side is how you intake energy, and even vibes, however you want to like go into it. But this is kind of acts like a Brita filter. So that way you can have a little bit more clarity on what is your voice versus what are other people's. Also, there's a lot of great there I'll try to find the practice down below, and I'll try to link it down below, but there's also this practice of like envisioning a flower, and then like it has like super hover vacuum powers, and then like you close your eyes, you imagine this, like any type of rose or flower, particularly rose for some reason, very important. It's actually very powerful in spell work too, so just keep that in mind. But with the rose, you would imagine it having like super crazy suction power, and then like any like energy if you're feeling bogged down or anything, and like you just imagine that like that flower is sucking in all of like the guck off of you. I personally think it's like gray matter and crap. And then you tell yourself, you can either say it out loud or in your mind's eye, going like, I release this energy. I do not internalize this energy. I externalize this energy. Because remember, when it comes to actions, your body will hear, if you say, I do not internalize, your body's going to hear, I internalize. And that's a big thing and a big key for like manifesting in the way that your self-talk works as well. But like that's a huge thing of being able to say like, I do not internalize, comma, I externalize, because then you're like, it's kind of like a double whammy. And I understand it's kind of contradictive. You might as well just say I externalize, but it's whatever helps you. And I externalize this energy and it no longer serves me. And then in your mind's eye, you blow up the flower. Please don't actually go out and blow up flowers. Please. I mean, you can if you want. We're, free will. But I highly don't suggest it. Flowers are beautiful, beautiful beings here on this planet too. Let me get off my milk crate. But yeah, sorry guys, I'm channeling and I feel like I'm rambling, but that was something that I'm very much called to share, because there's a lot of things here where you're like, you feel like you're super guarded. You feel like you always have to have your guard up. Like there's no moment to rest because you're just like so damn confused as to what the hell in the heyday is going on. And you're kind of like, you feel like you're on a time crunch too, which we'll go more into these cards like a little bit more individually, but it definitely feels like you're really like, I'm seeing a few situations. If this is a situation about love, you're kind of sitting here going to the universe going, yo, what's going on? Where is it? Like, but I'm honestly getting, this is definitely more like, you're having a lot of conflict, because the things that are blocking you is not you not being able to make a decision about something that you feel conflicted about. With the Five of Wands here and then the Two of Swords in reverse, with this being in the area of where you're being blocked, your whole, also like the way that this fairy's just clutching on to this situation, like you don't need to do that. Like whatever this conflicting situation is, your higher self is coming in, by the way, and with this Eight of Swords in reverse kind of telling you to like let go and let God and release. And I'm just, that's honestly a quote from a TikToker who does a sound bath. You can say you can say God, goddesses, you could, whatever you believe in, universe, higher power. But I let go, I let blank, and I release. I'm sorry for all this like lighting change. This camera's great, but it does a lot of adjustment to my movements. That being said, you also, like, your higher self is telling you to trust in your mind's eye, trust in your body, that you will know how to navigate this situation. Which is really interesting, because, like, I'm tempted to see if the High Priestess is anywhere near here. No, okay. I was going to be like, because she likes to creep in the back of the deck sometimes. I won't even front with you. But your higher self is telling you to let your guard down and to stop fooling yourself into thinking that, like, things are, like, way worse than they actually are. Like, you're gonna be fine. Like, I think the biggest conflict that's going on here is you, not being able to pick a choice in the matter and move forward. And, like, with that, it's preventing you it's preventing you from understanding and balancing out your energies as well. But like, this is very much, this is a lot of things that are going on with like, it seems like you're having an issue making a choice of where you want to focus your passions. And I feel like your higher self is telling you that, like, just let your guard down and stop telling yourself that you have to limit yourself. Because like with the Seven of Swords here is very much like a deception kind of, not kind of, that's pretty much what the card is. But like, you're being called to like stop fooling yourself. That's really like your higher self is literally like and that's the thing too. It's like these swords will fall away. You just need to kind of put on a blindfold of faith and just kind of move forward. Let your guard down. And like, I'm sensing like, stop fooling yourself into thinking that things have to be so damn awful. Like, that's not the case. It really isn't. You don't have to sit there and act like that's what's going to happen. I can also, like, if you pick this pile and you're feeling super defensive right now, I can tell. Like, you're very much heavily guarded. Which, that's, that's your cup of tea, but I'm just saying, if you're sitting here, choosing a pile and you already got this far, honey, maybe be a little bit more open and be a little more receptive. I'm getting a little bit of, like, a headache, so you might want to work on your third eye. Your third eye or your crown, honestly, and kind of just sit and just know. So your crown chakra affirmations are I know, and your third eye is I see. So I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because then it's I speak, I love, I do, I feel, I am. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I had those correct. But let's move on to the lower part of your reading, which, again, this is what your higher self's telling you. This is what's being blocked. And then these are the things that, like, your spirit team wants you to know. And again, I'm just entertaining this because, like, just in case this is also your situation as well. But, like, if this is a romantic situation, and I'm again just saying that because there's a lovers here and we have like a lot of cups on the bottom, and it's interesting, you have like the emotions and the femininity here, but then you have all these masculine energies up here where it's like this is what's blocking you, and then your higher self's trying to come in and kind of like corral you a little bit too, where if this is a situation about love, your higher self is telling you, and I'm just gonna, like, everything that I said previously is still applicable. Like, you're needing to just kind of step out of trying to figure out the situation and just kind of put on that blindfold. And I love the use of the red string of fate here throughout this deck, especially with the red. But the red contrast with the blindfold is just kind of like having the love for yourself to move forward with faith, like knowing that regardless of anything that happens, you will be okay, and to drop your guard. Because if you want somebody to be in your life, you can't constantly keep throwing your guard up, going like, whoa, what are you gonna do to me? And I don't think your higher self is saying that this person is trying to deceive you. It definitely seems like you are in your mental unrest of constantly being on guard, that you think that this other person is doing something when they're actually not, which is creating conflict and also making it hard for you to decide whether or not you want to keep going or keep pursuing this connection as well. But that being said, you have the Queen of Cups here, you have the Six of Cups here, and then you have the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, the Eight of Coins in reverse. And very much like your spirit team is acknowledging, again, whatever the situation may be. I'm just gonna go to the loved one, since that's the boat that I've been currently sailing on the last like 2 minutes. You very much, again, are going like, yo, where's my partner? And like, your spirit team's definitely asking you to kind of like do your due diligence for your femininity and feel your feelings. Feel your feelings, but also find a good, mature balance between what you are feeling and what you are thinking. Because obviously for like you yourself, you're a very intelligent person. I can tell this very much, but that is also somewhat your downfall. You have more of a tendency to kind of bury yourself in your head rather than moving forward and allowing yourself to feel the emotions, understand what thoughts are triggering those emotions, which are then making you fall into a spiral. Because like that's the problem I'm seeing here, is that you're thinking something which is eliciting a feeling, but then you're not allowing yourself to feel the feeling. You're allowing yourself to like put yourself into situations that are actually probably not in front of you, and that's what's creating this conflict. I honestly, like 110%, I'm pretty damn confident. Like most of the time, like there's actually probably nothing really wrong. It's just you kind of like over fucking spiraling because you're leading yourself. You're leading your actions with feelings that are tied to thoughts instead of leading yourself as you are, welcoming the experience of whatever emotion that it is there instead of burying it deeper to allow it to spiral randomly. You have to like, I'm trying to remember the quote. I remember this like one person, give me a second here. I'm hearing emotion is thoughts in motion, but like yes but no, like that's not kind of like what spirit is trying to get to you right now about. Like it's, I mean, granted I'm hearing it, so like yeah, I think that's what it is. Like that's so you have this thought, right? Let's take a like a let's take an opportunity, right? Like a job opportunity. You get presented this job opportunity and you go through the interview or whatever, and you end up in this little like thought of, oh, what if I don't get it? Right? And a lot of us end up like that, right? And then you feel disappointed. But then in that disappointment, instead of recognizing that you're like, okay, well, I know I feel disappointed, but like, you know, also like I haven't gotten a definitive answer yet. Like, let's just be patient and, you know, let's just kind of set, like, I appreciate an understanding where this disappointment came from. Maybe it's like, you know, you've been interviewing a lot. Maybe that's what's going on. You know, I understand that we might have been burnt a little bit before, but let's put this over here. This is a different situation, right? And regardless of whatever the outcome is, you're going to be okay because you already sat there and was like, okay, well, you know, I acknowledge the fact that like I was disappointed. And then, you know what, if you end up not getting it, you allow yourself to feel the feelings of disappointment, right? But then it's like you end up thinking and spiraling, going, oh, well, if I, you know, I'm disappointed I didn't get it. And I, you know, obviously I didn't get it because I'm not good enough, or obviously I didn't get it because I'm not pretty, or because I'm not like talented, or because I'm not like this. Like, do you see how like you, like that's the example is like you instead of stopping at the emotion and allowing yourself to process, you fly off the handle into irrational thought, which is where the Seven of Swords is coming from. Like, you have your guard up, expecting bad outcomes, and now it's like painting worst case scenarios. Like, if you're talking to someone and you've constantly been burnt before, and like, you know, and listen, I get it. Like, you have your guard up, like, you know, maybe you're used to people like, you know, being mad, like fucking sketchy with you, and then like you're sitting there and like you're talking to this like really nice person. This person's like, you know, maybe they don't get back to you for like a few days because they're busy, and then you're like, oh, like they're talking to another person, like all this other stuff, like, oh, like, you know, of course they are, like, you know, instead of just kind of like communicating with yourself and going, yo, okay, I get that we feel neglected. Either say something to that person or say something to yourself going, you know what? Like, regardless of what happens, everything's gonna be okay. And that's where that's where your higher self is kind of coming in and going, like, could you do us a favor and just like have faith in everything? Like, have faith that regardless, we're going to make sure that the right thing is on its way. And the reason why I'm saying this is because there are amazing things on the way. You have the Six of Chalices here. So again, if this is a love connection, I like the Six of Cups is very reminiscent to like soulmates. But also like a very deep connection, things that like might have come from like a past lifetime. If this is not a love related situation, this is definitely something that will fulfill you, things that will like kind of like heal some old wounds of like let's say for example, like you are going for this job interview. Like, this is a very like, while it might not be the next job that you interview for, just know that if you don't get that job, like, it's bringing you closer to the job that you are like, that is meant to be very fulfilling for you. And also, like, another thing that your spirit team is trying to tell you is like, yes, you are literally acting kind of like, where is it? I'm pointing to my non-existent watch. I hope you enjoy it. A lot of people would tell me to get a watch, and I would draw a watch just to be a smartass. You know, charming young Yuki. What can I say? I don't know why I was called to share that. But also, things don't need to be as hard. You don't need to bust your ass for good things to happen, by the way. That's like a number one thing that I'm hearing. Pile 3. Y'all killing me here. I mean, you're not, but a little bit. So before I even started your reading, I was called to pull some oracle cards, and this is a very small oracle deck. But there is a deity that wants to work with you. I'm just gonna leave that here. I like to leave my cards in the boxes they come in. I don't know why. I just do. Makes it easier to store too. I might actually have to start getting a bookshelf for all the cards that I have. But yeah, what spirit, what deity wants to work with pile 3 or has a message for them? Jupiter. Oh, ooh. Are there any other deities that want to come through? Virgo. Okay, Virgo. Okay, very nice. I always, is that Virgo or Scorpio? I think I always mix up Virgo and Scorpio together. Hold on, let me see if I can find them. This is purely for me and not for anybody else. I just want to see. No, oh, okay. I'm not too far off. Yeah, Virgo and Scorpio are kind of reminiscent, which is actually interesting because I, for the longest time, didn't get along with Virgos. Which is weird for me to say, because now that I'm recollecting that, I'm pretty sure I dated a Virgo at some point. It was okay. I don't really think we need this. So Jupiter is a very expansive god. He is the king of the gods. Also with this hawk here, I don't think it's an eagle, I'm pretty sure it's a hawk. You're being called to whatever the situation that you're going through and however this applies to you, you're being called to take a higher perspective. There is also a bird chirping like really loudly randomly. So that's definitely a confirmation for you, pile 3. You are being called to take a higher perspective. Also recognize that Jupiter's a very, very, very expansive god who loves to work with people who are benevolent. And he also has a lot of messages for you. I'm interested to see, yeah, honestly, maybe we'll just pull out the guidebook. It's a chonky boy anyways. It's a chonky boy, but so the best part is this comes in like 5 languages, and this is the English section. It's so tiny. I mean, why not? We've got some time, pile 3. The king of the gods, Jupiter brings jovial and generous abundance to all endeavors. When Jupiter smiles, all good fortune follows. Nobility of character is demanded by Jupiter. He does not hesitate to hurl thunderbolts when human matters displease him. As a celestial body, this gigantic planet represents an opportunity and expansiveness and the ability to bring even the most ambitious dreams into manifestation. Jupiter rules over matters of luck, optimism, and well-being. When Jupiter appears in your reading, you can be assured that the benevolent powers of the cosmos are working with you as long as you stay true to your highest purpose. Yeah, so you and that's where this Queen of Chalices, Queen of Cups is coming in through your spirit team as well. That's like telling you, because like if you want to work with Jupiter, highly recommend. This is also Zeus, by the way. You are being warned to get clarity on your situation and get clarity on the things that you want as an outcome. Like, here's the thing. If you sit here and go like, well, I want to be this, you are being asked, and I'm channeling this right now. Sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. I need to stop apologizing so much. Okay. You are being called to start making steps in the direction of the things that you desire, because I am tired of seeing you constantly move forward and make choices that are not aligned with the things that you desire. You ask for anything, and you're not taking the steps to get there. And I really need you to start making moves towards the things that you want. Because you're fooling yourself into constantly thinking that things are going to go wrong. I am here to bless this connection and to bless this outcome. But I need you to get severely clear on how you want the outcome to be rather than what you think it is. So we also have Virgo. Sorry guys, I definitely just channeled on the video. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Oh my god. That's when you know I'm back. All right, so let's just go into the, you also might be a Virgo. That could be very much a sign for you. Your planetary ruler is Mercury, which also is about communication, by the way. So maybe you are also being called to communicate. Purity, clarity, and discriminating tastes are the hallmarks of Virgo's elegant nature. Attention to detail and great intelligence combined make Virgo insightful and articulate, and devotion to service and a gift for healing are counterpoints for the Virgo's inclination to be overly critical, fussy, and persnickety. So maybe that's some things that you're being called out for. Maybe you're being overly critical about your situation and yourself. And particularly, I'm hearing yourself. You're being very overly critical of yourself, and I think that's where that 7 of Swords is coming from. And the fussy and persnickety, like, you know, again, like, that's how you're acting here with, like, a lot of this situation. And it's not really necessary. Okay. Whew. All right, pile 3. I think I'm going to go ahead and get you Some affirmations, and then I think we're going to call it there, as long as nothing pops out that might call me to pull any other cards. But yeah. Okay, that was quick. Any affirmations that will help pile 3? Is there any affirmations that'll help pile 3? Any other ones? Okay. Okay, passion power. Hopefully you can see it. I give thanks for knowing my passion, my power, and my purpose in life. So I'm going to give you guys a second to screenshot that if you want. I highly recommend making this like your phone background if I can get my life together. That's what I usually do. I draw some of these daily, and then I will set it as my background. Oh yeah, camera adjustments for the win. Yeah, I give thanks for knowing my passion, my power, and my purpose in life. And here we go. Here's another one. I will read it in a second. Everything within my cellular structure is changeable because each molecule is a piece of God. I am whole, I am healthy, and I am holy. Yeah, and also, like, it's actually interesting because, like, Jupiter, to me, Jupiter, maybe it's because of Sailor Moon, Jupiter to me is green, right? And green is not just wealth, but it's also your heart chakra and being willing to open up. And then you have here blue, which is your throat chakra, which is learning to communicate. And I think that that's a big thing, is your self-talk too. And also taking action towards the things that you want. So, yeah, pile 3. I'm glad I finally got all of my ducks in a row by the time of your reading. And it was a very powerful reading. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I did not channel with these cards. And particularly while Spirit was coming through, like that, there was definitely some messages from Jupiter there. Just recognize that, like, the gods are there. And this is, I guess, my witchiness talking, but like the gods are here to work with us, you know? But that also means they deserve to be honored. And I think that can really go with any religion, right? Like if you are sitting there and asking for help, and, you know, you get opportunities that come the way, and you're like either being indecisive about what to do about it, or you're just not like, let's say for example, you want to be a painter, right? I wonder where she's bringing this up from. You want to be a painter, right? But you're doing everything other than painting. You're not taking steps to make space to be able to find a place to paint. You know, you're not taking steps to give yourself time to paint. You're doing a lot of other things. You're doing YouTube tarot readings. Or, you know, like, again, and this is just an example, but I also do want to be a tarot reader. Obviously, I am a tarot reader. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. I am a tarot reader. I obviously want to do this for my profession, and that's why I'm here making steps towards the thing that I want to do, versus like things that I enjoy doing, or versus things that feed me versus things that drain me. And this isn't about me. I just being called to share, so we're here. But you're being called to take action towards your goal instead of just asking for things and just sitting and not working towards them. Because that's the thing, like, you can sit there and make a vision board, but if, like, let's say and you know what, here's an even better example. You want a car, right? You put your car on your vision board, but you don't do anything about it. You don't go shopping around to check prices. You don't, take a test drive. You don't get familiar of how it would feel to go and sit and be in that car. Like, you're just sitting, or you're not like sitting there and saving up for the new car, or looking into how that could be a possibility for you, right? So you sit there and nothing happens. And then you're kind of like, well, excuse me, where's my car? Like, to, you know, don't do that to Jupiter, please. Because like you said, he's very benevolent, but he also will strike you down in a heartbeat if you're going to sit there and act like a little shit. But yeah. Okay, pile 3, this is the third time I've been literally trying to end this reading. This is where I'm ending your reading. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this reading at all, please feel free to like, please feel free to comment down below and tell me how this resonated, because I stand for resonation. While I don't need external validation, you know, a little bit of like kudos goes a long way for my, you know, my confidence. But yeah, no, let me know how this resonated. If you would like to be updated whenever I upload, which I'm going to try to do, we will see, either bi-monthly or weekly, whatever time I have, I would like to do these. Now that I have a better setup and it didn't take me forever and a day to figure it out. But yeah, and also if you have a suggestion of what you want me to focus on for a reading, comment down below and let me know. But yeah, so these were things that you needed to know, and I hope that this was able to guide you. And I also say thank you so much if you got to this point of the reading, that you took the time to be here. I'm honestly very, very grateful. And I'm very excited to be starting this journey. Again, we hit some we hit some roadblocks, but we're here. So again, thanks so much for being here. I greatly appreciate you, and hopefully I'll see you next time. And I hope you have a great day or night whenever you're watching this. Okay?